What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I woke up this morning to a brand new sneak peek for the October update, V650. Over on Twitter, we have a little bit of verbiage, and then we got something better on the forums. So let's take a look at kind of what we got, and then we'll page on through here. It says, this highly anticipated wall crawler has had many super occupations. In the V650 update, Marvel Future Fight welcomes a new Spider-Verse superhero. So there's a couple of things to pick apart in those little pieces. Yes, they're calling it 650 update. They are calling her a wall crawler, even though that's not really one of her abilities, depending on which Spider-Woman you actually talk about. They are mentioning Spider-Verse as well, so that's kind of worthy of note. But let's flip on over to the forums and see what we have from here. It says over on the forums itself, it says, "Greetings, agents. CM Fragment, as always. In order to fight against the impending threat, S.H.I.E.L.D. arranged a meeting for our agents and our heroes of many titles." So that's... Many titles is kind of interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit. She's been a private investigator, a secret agent, a mother, and an Avenger. So those are kind of more telling of who it is. Agents, let's welcome our new warrior in our fight against the Symbiotes, which is, we'll have to kind of note that as well, the Symbiotes. But here in this little blue text, Arachne glides into battle. And that's where we get maybe some controversy. Arachne refers to a couple of different characters, namely Julia Carpenter as well as Jessica Drew. We'll play this in a little bit, and we'll kind of see if we can pick apart who it actually is based on these previews. Just the verbiage that we have here: private investigator, secret agent, mother, and Avenger. This leads me to believe that it is Jessica Drew, but Arachne is more often referred to as Julia Carpenter. So that's where it kind of becomes a misnomer. Either way, both characters are called Spider-Woman, which is what we have here. Makes her long-awaited debut to Marvel Future Fight. No shit. I mean, this is 5 years coming, right? People have been begging for her since the beginning. So let's flip on over to YouTube, because I can slow down the video a little bit more, but I'll play it all the way through first, and then we'll kind of slow it down to see what we kind of get here. Right in the opening shot, we have some spider webs, but I'll let you guys kind of see it if you guys haven't seen it yet. Pretty sweet. But let's slow this down a little bit, and then we'll see if it actually is Jessica Drew, because I think that some folks are gonna, if you look around on the forums, you're actually gonna see it a little bit. There's a spider web right in the beginning, there's a spider web crawling right across. But if you look on like Twitter and stuff like that, you'll see people respond with, "Is this somebody else other than Jessica Drew?" So right on that opening shot, when she glides in, and that's kind of a key component here, is that she is gliding in. I want to show you what I saw and what I immediately thought was going to be Jessica Drew. See how that little triangle right on her chest, you'll see in her uniforms if you don't know her by now. That's pretty solid classic look for her. She does do this glide in sequence, and then she has a blast that creates a green mist. And if you don't know, Jessica Drew has a toxin ability. She uses pheromones and toxins, and it kind of stuns and charms her appointments that way. So I think that's going to be the first major instance of her being Jessica Drew. Her long hair is a very common theme for her. Actually, in her origin, she had a full mask on, but she kind of changed that for the look that we currently know her as. And then also, I want to highlight this little piece as the light is shining. It says "awake." As much as we don't give the Marvel dev team that much credit, they do know a character's history enough that they wouldn't awaken a Julia Carpenter. She's just not that big of a character. She's just not she doesn't have the fan base. But Spider-Woman does. So this awake here, the graffiti text is kind of an indication that they probably would give her an awakening. And if it's the case, then it's got to be Jessica Drew. But we'll get into a little bit of her bio and kind of go from there. Jessica Drew, as most folks will already know, this is that classic look. Her gliding is very, very common for her. She's had a couple of different aliases, namely Arachne, which obviously we saw in the orange text in the preview before. Hunter, some teams that she's been on. She mentioned the Avengers. She originally was on the Hydra team. That's who trains her. And she was clear, obviously, from there, a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. and SWORD, New Avengers, Secret Avengers, all those kind of things. So, well, she's currently seeing a revival in some images. This is Julia Carpenter's character, so she's got the white, which a lot of folks will actually, I think there's a theory, a rumor, or whatever, that Spider-Man Black, or his black uniform, is actually based off of her uniform, which is Julia Carpenter's Spider-Woman, but I mean, I don't think it's ever been really confirmed. But this is her original Spider-Woman uniform with the mask, and this is her first appearance as Spotlight. In this storyline, she is from the 1970s. She's British. She's gravely ill of a scientist. She had something like uranium exposure or something like that. Her father injects her with this experimental serum, obviously based on radiated spiders, and that's why we get her. She emerges decades later, but she's like physically still 17 years old. She's captured by Hydra. She's brainwashed, as always. She's given the code name Arachne, and then she, rises up the ranks, becomes a top agent. She's assigned to kill Nick Fury, but realizes Hydra's true motivations, and then quits the team. But this story was then retconned. She now... here's that look of her getting a revival, but she's now her powers more manifest when she's in the mother's room. She was being hit by a laser beam with DNA traits of several spiders. She's then still recruited by Hydra. She's trained by Taskmaster. She lost her powers, regained her powers, any number of different things. She is not in any way related to Spider-Man. She's not like of the same... She doesn't have the same powers. She has a different set. As in opposition to Spider-Woman, Julia Carpenter, with the black and white suit, she's actually is just like Spider-Man in terms of her powers being very, very similar. So I think this is more telling. There's that triangle look of her, the gliders that we have of her. So I would assume that this is the Jessica Drew that we have coming to the game. But the other note that is in the video update that I want to kind of note is I want to call out is the possible symbiote update. So we could see characters like Venom, Carnage, Agent Venom, but most notably, everybody's kind of hoping for Null to come into the game, the god, the King in Black. The symbiote god. We would love to see him come into the game. Also, I think there's worth mentioning is because it is October, Halloween is just around the corner, that we could also get a Venomverse update where a number of the characters get Venom looks, because that would be... It's always an interesting look in the game itself. You have characters like, most notably Wolverine that's here, Captain America gets a Venom, Thing gets Venomized, Deadpool, X-23, that's Deadpool up here. We already have the Venomized Ghost Rider from Red Hulk that's in game, but that's kind of where we could possibly see another update, another character. I mean, they're all based on the symbiote, so I would want to see if they go the Null route or the Toxin route. We'll have to kind of wait and see on the next update, but it's certainly a possibility when we're talking about Spider-Verses and what that could possibly bring. It's also worth mentioning whether or not other Spider characters will get a highlight. Characters that have fallen off, like Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen, Miles. I mean, they're just not playable, but they're in-game, like Silk, for example. They're here, but they don't really do anything. The fact that this update mentions a fighting against the symbiotes, we'll kind of see what that does. That mean all villains or anti-villains to get updates. Agent Venom and Carnage, and or are we actually going to get something on this Spider-Verse side? And at the end of the day, is Spider-Man going to be viable? Because he really isn't. He's nobody uses that character. Very, very few folks have tier 3'd him. I don't see him in game, and I don't really know why. He's arguably one of the more popular Marvel characters. If you think of a class system, Spider-Man is up there with tier 1, top tier, most recognizable Marvel characters. So we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you guys think. Is this going to be more of a symbiote update, or is this going to be more of a Venomverse update? What are your thoughts on Jessica Drew finally coming to the game? As always, thanks for your comments, checking out the stream. It's something that we talked about yesterday, which is hilarious that it's here now. But we'll definitely have to continue this discussion going forward. Until next time, do good, and I'll see you guys soon.